Well, hey there, guys. I'm Axel the Beast, and this is the Curiosity Shop, the ZeldaDungeon.net video mailbag where I answer your Zelda questions. And hope you guys had fun in the marathon. I didn't get to go because, well, it didn't work out. Maybe next time. And I actually was one of the Axels in the chat. That was Axel the Beast, spelled like, you know, just A-X-L-E, the, and Beast, as one word. And that was totally me, you non-believers. And also, apparently last week, you can see the question for yourself, but, well, not last week, the week before that, the last mailbag, I answered a question about why it's called The Legend of Zelda, and apparently my answer is technically wrong, although I still think it works as, like, a logical reason why, but apparently Miyamoto was actually fascinated with the idea of, like, having the villain, the hero, and the, like, the damsel or whatever. So they had the Mario series named after the hero, Donkey Kong series named after the villain, and you know, they had Zelda with the damsel or the other character. So, yeah, apparently I was off on that. Hey, I can admit my own mistakes. Alright, so our actual first question for this time is from a link to the Now, who asks, what is the most evil Zelda villain in your opinion, and why? I actually wouldn't put Demise or Ganon for this. I would actually say Majora. Now, a lot of people think that Majora doesn't count as a villain. It's more like a chaotic entity. It's just about destruction. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I've always preferred the definition of evil that basically means causes harm and destruction. So in that way, I think that makes Majora the most evil of all, because it's a being of pure destruction, just wants to kill, just wants to destroy. There's no reason for it. It's not conscious malevolence necessarily, although that's debatable. It's not like maniacal domination control. It's just destroy. I think that's, in a lot of ways, the purest evil that there is, and I think Majora was supposed to be like a demonic, pure evil entity. Demise, for the same reason, however, would be basically number 2. Be sure to tell me your guys' most evil villain, though. Whirling Blade asks, do you think that they should bring optional swords back to Zelda? Yeah, I think that they should, you know, I mean, not really swords specifically, but just the idea of optional equipment in general. I liked it when, like in Ocarina of Time, you had a lot of different equipment you could choose from, and a lot of it is plot necessary. I would like to see that expanded, so like there's a lot of optional stuff, a lot of optional equipment and accessories, almost like an RPG, but, you know, within Zelda's style, you know? Or like Skyward Sword with the shields. I'd like to see it expanded to all the equipment. Maybe not even strictly swords. Maybe they could be other weapons too. I think that'd be really cool. I think it would be a nice expansion to what they have. Deku Scrub asks, it seems that in every Zelda game in the series, instruments are always needed. My only quarrel with that is why waste time on a song for warping when you could just cast a spell and be there in half the time it takes to play a song. You know, I'm actually in agreement on this. I wasn't crazy about the Ocarina and Ocarina of Time, although that's a game where I'm not going to complain about it. Same with Majora's Mask, but I think that the series is almost a little obsessive with the instruments lately, and I do have that problem. Like, why can't all these special effects, especially the warping, be something that you do with like a magic spell or something, or like other items? Like, there's no reason you have to sit there and remember a button combination to just do something. I think that that's kind of a questionable game mechanic, and it's bugged me since Majora's Mask, or every game since then. It didn't bug me in Majora's Mask though. However, I kind of like Spirit Tracks and Skyward Sword on that note, mainly because they turn it into a gameplay where there's actually a way of failing or doing it wrong, you know? Other than just not remembering the combination, you actually have to do, like, as a mini-game. I kind of like that. I wouldn't mind the instruments sticking around if they keep doing that, but I also would like to see them, like, take a break. I mean, I don't see why it has to be a core part of the series. Driorianos asks, I get that the Zora are water people breathing H2O and all that, but how on earth do they keep surviving genocide via being frozen solid? That's actually a legitimately good question. I guess they're resilient because they're not... Yeah, okay, they're resilient because they're not humans. They are, like the Gorons, they're really resilient to a specific elements, because Gorons are good with fire and Zoras are good with... I'm making this up, I don't know. A Mexican, we don't know which one, just a Mexican, asks, if you could ask one question to one of the many Zelda characters, for example, Tingle, which would you choose, and what would you ask him, her, or it? I would ask Fi, why are you so annoying? I would ask Fi if she would go out with me, or Midna, or Marin. CM Madden Jr. asks, what are your thoughts on the fan-made Majora's Mask Wii U trailer? You know, I thought it looked kind of cool. It was very impressive for something fan-made, but I actually wasn't a huge fan of the visual style. I mean, it's great for, like, a fan thing, and it is the impression a lot of people get from the game, but I never, like, felt it should be that dark. I mean, you have a lot of shadows on the official artwork, but I don't think if you were going to make a Majora's Mask game, at least with that, like, high quality of graphics, you should be doing something that, like, exaggeratedly black and dark. I didn't think it actually fit the style of the game particularly. Aside from that, I guess it was a very cool looking thing. I thought it was a nice fan thing. It was very cool. The Man asks, personally, I think that the hug you get from Cremia in Majora's Mask is in itself enough reason for Majora's Mask 3D. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, actually, you've convinced me on that. Good job. Eric LOLs86 asks, I've been doing a little research about the origins of Majora. I read somewhere that in the manga, Majora was put away by the Dark Tribe in a Tower of In the manga, there is a story where Majora is some kind of big monster. It has nothing to do with the Dark Tribe or the Stone Tower. It's a monster, and it eats people, and some warrior seals it in a mask, you know, kills it or something. It's a fairy tale thing, and the creators... Basically, the creators of the manga, and this is a non-canonical manga, mind you, have said that this story doesn't even relate to the plot in the manga, and which makes sense. It doesn't fit at all with their explanation of Majora. Therefore, it's like double non-canonical. As for the origin of Majora, it's unclear. It may or may not relate to the ancient tribe. It may or may not relate. The ancient tribe may or may not relate to the Dark Tribe, and the creation of the mask may or may not correspond to the creation of the entity inside it. They could be two separate things. So, it's a big mystery. Yeah. N64 Link asks, Axel, I have an important question! Every time I play Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask with my friends, we always have a huge fight about whether it is faster to run long distances with or without rolling over and over. Which is faster? And if you don't answer this question, I will assume you just don't know the answer and are therefore dead to me. Well, it actually was recently discovered in like some video. I don't have the link, so you can look it up or just take my word for it, in which someone did test them, and yeah, it's faster to roll. Fact. I'm not sure if that's true of all the Zelda games, because those are different engines. In my opinion, in Skyward Sword, it's really a bad idea to roll, very much. But in Ocarina of Time, it is objective fact that it is faster to roll. It's been tested, believe it or not. The Man 2112 asks, in Ocarina of Time in Gerudo Valley, there is a tent with the Running Man in it who asks you to race to Kokiri Forest. But even when I beat his time, he still wins. Why is this, and how can I beat him? To beat the Running Man, you actually can't take the head start. You actually have to just wait until he starts running himself and beat him fairly. I'm kidding, you can't beat the Running Man. Yellow Like asks, why is there a toilet in The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword? Why is there a toilet in your house? Zelda Noob asks, do you think Groose is the original Gerudo? I think he is because he has the red hair and yellow eyes, and the Gerudo and Ocarina of Time share those looks. What do you think? To be honest, I'm only answering this because I get it all the time, but I don't actually take the notion seriously. I don't think you can look at every single character who happens to match some kind of broad traits, because there are other redheads and whatnot in the Zelda series, and say it has to be a certain race. With Groose, I guess theoretically he could be like one of the original people who started the Gerudo race, but I don't think there's a lot of reason to think that in particular. I think he's just a character who happens to look similar. If you want to believe that his descendants become the Gerudo, okay, there's room for that, but there's no solid like proof of that. Linking Timeline asks, while me and my friend were playing Skyward Sword, we noticed something kinda awesome, especially if it was confirmed. We noticed that the Timeshift Stones are around the same color as the Ocarina of Time. I know that this is not confirmed at all, but what do you think about this? Well, actually, this is sort of vaguely, barely, sort of, a little confirmed. Basically, in Hyrule Historia, it throws out that idea that you know, they're the same color, maybe it's made from the same material. They don't actually confirm it. It's not like definitely confirmed, but they threw the idea out there, which I don't take as a confirmation. I take that as some, hey, what if? Debate about this, like you did with the timeline. We're not trying to stop that whole thing of you trying to explain our stuff for us. You know, that's kind of how I look at it. I don't take the idea seriously. I don't see why every time travel thing has to be the same thing, related to the same thing. I don't get that. Alright, and our last question is from Juicy J. Some people have taken Miyamoto's recent quote discussing Zelda Wii U's controls to mean that Nintendo might not use the Wii Motion Plus for Zelda in the future. It seems to me that he was saying that they're trying to enhance the motion controls so that they're more appealing, namely to those who didn't like them. What are your thoughts on the subject? Well, I agree with you to a point where I just think it's very unclear what he meant. I don't think he even meant anything. He's just saying they're looking at it because people didn't like it. That could mean a lot of things. It could mean they're just going to improve it. Or it could mean they're going to change it. That is the definite concern, especially if people complained about it too much and just didn't seem to like it at all, which is why I keep bringing up all these reasons why they're not bad. You just might not have liked how they did them. Maybe they could do them better, etc. That's why I did the whole Control Compromise video last week. So, yeah, I think that it's unclear what he meant, and I think we kind of need to... Any Zelda fan who really wants to make sure that it's how they want it needs to get out there and state it and make a big deal about it so that Nintendo gets the idea. And hopefully they'll be listening still. Alright guys, that's it for this time. Be sure to send your questions to the contact page in the description, and I'll see you guys later. What is the origin of the entity inside the mask? And are you serious? Link